And a very good, wonderful day to all of you. Welcome to the new followers of the page. Lovely to see you join me and everyone else here on First Nature. Now we're on to number 4 of 2016's learnings. And this one's an interesting one because it carries into the 5th and final learning I'm taking in from last year. And it's in the areas of self-therapy. Now, self-therapy, I'm going to say, may not be what a lot of people would necessarily see it as, so I have to define it very carefully for myself. Now, when I say self-therapy, what I look at is a process in which I, by myself, go into my own head and I try to figure out what's causing my discomfort, what's causing my, let's say, discomfort in the situation I'm in the emotional discomfort I'm in, or in the perhaps adverse reaction I've had to something, and working it out and making it better for myself. So, for example, the book I'm writing is very much an element of self-therapy, as well as moments I've gone through over the last couple of months where I've seen something and gone, hey, what's going on there? Can we do anything about that? And then that leads on to, as I mentioned in my last video, going to other coaches to help me out with it. So in the past, I have spoken to Karen about money-related issues. I've spoken to Shamini from from PMV Tribe about my own personal management of feedback. I've spoken to Nick Elvery about time management, I suppose, and learning how to really manage setting your goals as well. So I've spoken to a number of different people about different issues that I've had, but there are issues that I've been aware that I've had that I needed to sort out. And then I've been able to go to those people and go, look, I need to work on this. And of course, then that helps me to build through other issues that I see coming up. And it's not so that I can iron out and be this completely creaseless human being that never has issues and never has a problem. But it's more that when I have these issues, I know how to deal with them when they happen. In fact, today, this very day, has been extremely stressful for me because it's been a number of tiny little events that have all backed up into each other. And I think what it was I had started the day going, I only need to do 2 things. And I was like, cool, that's it. That's all I need to do today. 2 things, done. Ta-da! One of them is a very quick job, sorted. The other one is just something that can go on and on and on until the end of the day. Whatever, that's fine. And then I started the day, and I actually started the day quite relaxed because I was like, it's okay. That's going to take 5 minutes, and the rest can take 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, 10 hours, whatever. It doesn't matter. And then I started to think through what was happening during the day, and what started as a 2-item list turned into, I think, a 10-item list, and I freaked out a little bit. I got a little bit stressed because the first job that was supposed to take 5 minutes ended up taking 45 minutes, and so on and so on and so on. And it kind of got on top of me, and I got really stressed. I got really kind of wound up, and I had to kind of put myself in a position of going, right, Dan, stop everything. What's wrong? What's happening right now? What's going on? And effectively what I'd done was I had been able to manage the situation because I know myself in terms of what I'm able to achieve and how I can push myself and when the best time to push myself is. Today was a really good day of pushing myself, and actually by posting this video I have done 95% of the things I didn't even know I had to do today. And so once this video's out, I'm actually in a really good spot. Really good spot. In fact, the rest of the day is kind of leisurely. The to-do list is very much like, fine. This last video is it. The last 5% is easy. But I know that in the past, if I had looked at this before, I would have wasted so much time. So much time. I would have panicked, procrastinated. I would have kind of gone, after this next cup of coffee. After I've done this. After I've done that. Da-da-da-da. Thankfully, because I've given up certain bad habits, I've actually realized how much those bad habits would get in the way of me getting stuff done. It was amazing, how much those things got in the way of me getting stuff done. Like cigarettes, for example, I used to smoke, and the cigarette thing, I'll just have a cigarette and then I'll get on with it. Let me just have one more cigarette and then I'll get on with it. Let me have one more cigarette. Now I don't have that. I literally don't have that. It's just straight, now it's just like, well, Dan, you've only got one choice. Start now or don't get it done. So which one's going to work for you? And and I actually would take myself into these situations where I found myself under a lot of pressure. I found myself reacting quite adversely. And the first question is this feeling justified? Is this justified right now? And often when I'm stressed and I've got a lot of work going on, I would look at everything I've got and I'd look at my to-do list and I go, you can do this in a day. So your stress is not really justified. It's just the fact that, Daniel, you're still getting used to having this much work to do in a day. Because usually when you work, you had one long job that went on for hours in a day and that was it. Very rarely do you actually have loads of different little jobs that you need to get done. Some that come into effect at the end of the month. Some come into effect in a couple of days. Some can affect in effect today. Some just need to be done right now. So this is new to you, Dan. So there's an element of, yeah, you can be stressed, but look, you did this yesterday and you're going to do it again today. So let's just work on this one by one by one. Let's just get through the list, buddy. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. And effectively what I did was, I know it's called the naughty corner because it's the same process I use here, but it's very much taking myself and like sitting myself down face to face and going, Dan, what's wrong? And I literally play this game of what are you doing? Why are you stressed? I almost talk down to myself a little bit. There's a hint of condescension in there, like I'm a child and I'm just misbehaving or, overreacting to something. Because effectively, when I've justified that I am overreacting. So I'm like, okay, dude, like, stop. And I bring it down to this normalized level. I stabilize the whole situation. An adult Dan, responsible Dan, the Dan of the future takes over and goes, hey, look, this is what we want, yeah? We both want the same things, buddy. So let's take a look at this honestly and rationally. You've done this before. You can do it again. Just remember how good it felt when you got it done. Remember how good it felt when you recognized that you were able to get past this. Remember how good it felt when you realized you did all this by yourself, buddy. Because, again, not that long ago, actually, we're still looking at less than a year, nearly less than a year. This would have crumbled you. This would have absolutely crumbled you. So you're in a place now where you're actually getting stuff done. And it's stuff that is thrown at you as well. So while I'm doing my to-do list, there's stuff, people calling me, people getting messages, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? And I'm doing it. And again, 95% of the way through, I get this video out, I'm nearly done with the list. But that level of productivity comes with this element of mental discipline. And it's one that I really now do swear by, where I literally rely on myself. I've become so self-aware of what's going on with me that if something's not right, I'm able to go, hey, whoa, hey, Dan, come back. Let's just take a moment, sit down. I don't actually talk out loud to myself, but I'm genuinely got a dialogue running in my head. And I do the same thing when I misbehave. And that's probably why I call it the naughty corner, because what I'll do is if there's a moment where I feel myself slipping. So previously I've said, the video games, for example, I now use as a reward rather than a procrastination tool. They are moments, I'm not even going to lie, there are moments where it does become a procrastination tool. And there are moments when I'll turn it on and I literally hear myself in my head go, don't you dare do this for too long, Dan. I am watching you like a hawk, sunshine. Don't think about it for too long. And then while I'm playing, the whole time, it's almost as if I'm sat. This is so weird to talk about, but it really does. It makes a lot of sense. I'm sat at my couch playing the game, but at the same time, I'm also sat like one row behind my conscious mind just going, don't do this for too long, Dan. Don't do this for too long, Dan. Don't you dare do this for too long, Dan. I don't get mad at myself, but it's like this gentle reminder, this gentle nudge. And again, it's nothing to stress me out. It's just that gentle push of like, you know the rules upon which we work. You know that you're not supposed to do this for too long. You know that technically, in a way, you shouldn't really be doing this right now, but I'm going to allow it just to let it pass. But you know that at some point, you are just going to have to put this down, turn it off, and get some work done. You know that. And as time moves forward, of course, that person will slowly kind of start to lean forward until eventually, yes, it takes action and I start to get stuff done. But it is this element of, and I'll be honest, actually, it's really weird for me to talk about this because it's kind of the first time I've actually put this out in the open. And it's interesting because this is genuinely what I do. This is exactly what happens in my head. I actually give myself two characters that I identify with myself, and I work them off each other effectively. you know, and there will be the one that has this kind of innate need and this innate desire to be satiated and so on. But there's another one that's basically, it's like child and parent effectively. And it's the parent that I try to be in the control of more often, because the parent will ultimately control the child. The child, of course, wants to freak out. The child, of course, doesn't want to have a stressful day. The child, of course, wants to sit and play video games all day and wants to listen to music and eat a whole bunch of chocolates and never work out. But the parent is like, no, because the child eventually will want to look good. He'll want to be healthy. He'll want to be productive. He'll eventually he'll want to wonder why things haven't quite gone so well. And the parent is there to remind the child, hey, there's a reason that we're doing all this. There's a reason we're going through all of this. And it's so that life can get better. And life has got better. So let's just keep going with that, all right? You can have your time. I give you your time. But let's do our homework. Okay, buddy? Yeah, that's right. And it continues to work like that. It really does. And so I will catch myself misbehaving, and I'll put the thing over there and I'll go, look, you know, you've done this too much now. Let's just get on with it. And it's this self-therapy, this self-talk, this self-discipline. And of course, then it builds this self-reliance as well, because then what you find is naturally, and what I found is that naturally I will actually just do things that, again, I wouldn't need to push towards. I wouldn't need to push to get things done. I would literally just be like, well, I've got that done. I might as well move on to the next thing. Let's go on to the next thing. Let's go on to the next thing. And you just can keep going like that. And it's a magnificent thing, because just as I said, you start creating a mental habit of productivity. You start creating a mental habit of looking after yourself, of putting yourself before everything else, so that when you eventually put yourself into everything else, you are as stable and as confident as you can be to do it. You're a really good platform and vehicle through which you can pass information or activities or events or anything. And it's fantastic, especially when you start to recognize that it's happening naturally. You no longer have to force yourself into that position. You don't have to mentally grind through that. Your mind's already in tune with just going, hey, let's just get that done. You know, let's just do that. You know, oh, do you want a day off that day? Okay, fine. But if work comes in, it's always better to get paid than not get paid. So how about we get paid that day, eh? Yeah, all right. And it's just like that. Even listening to myself now, it's so weird, because I genuinely think like, wow, this is the guy I've become. This is amazing. Like it's awesome. It really is. So yeah, it's important for us to be able to establish the person that we want to be, and the responsible person we want to be, and then acknowledge the person that, let's say, how can I define this now? The child and the parent, I guess. And then also recognizing what sensations, what emotions, what drives, what motivations those two characters have, so that you can then start working them with each other. Because they're both you at the end of the day, but they'll both have their own different motives. One will think about the future. One will think about everything that you want tomorrow and the next day and the next day. The other one might be more immediate. They might be more, you know what, I want a fucking piece of cake right now. I don't care about my waist. I want the cake. And the other person will say, okay, fine, right, you want a cake? Have half the cake, okay? But we're going to work out later, okay? Don't you do that. And that's, you know, and you play off that and you work with that. But then, of course, it builds clarity in your head, so you don't get confused with your sense of every emotion being up in the air, just constantly happening to you. You're in control of it, and you can manage it yourself. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So that is my learnings of last year that I've actually taken into this year, and some of the ways that it's been used, and some of the ways that I've helped it actually make me a more productive, better person, that's got me to the stage where I am earning 8 times more money than I was this time last year, where I'm sleeping better, where I've actually now given up drinking and smoking. And it wasn't actually that hard, because I was able to stay in my head and recognize everything that was going on with myself. I was able to lose a whole bunch of weight and stay in shape as well. And that's not necessarily been too taxing either. I've been able to get myself better work. I've been able to actually receive, and I wish I could share it, I've received in the last month a whole bunch of incredible feedback on the way I've been performing in all of my jobs right now, all of them. And it's just, it's fantastic. It's amazing. Again, it's a fantastic feeling. And all of this, I want to take all of my credit for. Of course, there has been the support. I can't deny there's been the support of the people around me, the people who've loved me and, you know, let me kind of get on with it. But ultimately, and this is something I want everyone else to do, is to be able to recognize that when they make something happen, they make something happen. And that, again, makes you realize, which I'm just realizing, is that you make that happen. That's you. No one can force you really to do something. If you do always have this option, this choice. And of course, there are parameters within those choices that maybe make you feel like you can't, but you can. And it's when you make those choices that work for you, when you recognize the choices you make that work for you, and they fucking do. And then you continue to work down that path, and you get to this stage you're at, and you're just like, hell to the motherfucking yeah. That's it. That's it. So, self-therapy, that's one thing that I really can't wait to share with everyone, and of course, share with the world. It help everyone manage themselves and take care of themselves a lot better. Make sure that they're at the forefront of their mind, and also recognizing when they are misbehaving, not to be too hard on yourself, but just to manage it like a parent and a child, you know, and being able to go, hey, you know, just let's, okay, and being able to work with that. I think that's going to be huge for the future in terms of the way that people look after themselves and the self-awareness, the level of self-awareness that people have out there and will have out there. It's gonna change a hell of a lot in the way that we look at things. But yes, that's going to be something I would take with me for the whole of this year. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Thank you very much for watching, and again, welcome. You are welcome. You're welcome here. You're welcome to the channel. Thank you very much for liking the page. If you like any of the videos, share them out there. Let the whole world know about what I'm teaching here and what I'm putting forward. And of course, if you have anything to say, as always, leave a comment in the box below. It'd be great to hear from you. I love hearing from you guys, and I'm always happy to have things challenged as well as things expanded on. Always happy for that, because information shared is truly powerful information. Truly powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a wonderful evening. Take care. Much love. Bye-bye.